Hello everyone and welcome to Core Java demo class. What is a Java programming? Java is a general purpose programming language which is also known as object-oriented programming language, and it is one of the most popular programming language in the world. Java is a platform independent and considered as one of the most secure programming language. To write a code in Java, first we need JDK. You can open this website or Google JDK download, and here Java platform 12. Now this is the current version of Java. Scroll down and depending on your operating system you can select. Before that you have to accept the license. Accept the license and then download it. So exe file or zip file if it is Windows. So once JDK is installed, then we need an IDE. So this is preferred IDE. So integrated development environment. You can download Eclipse from here and install it. So this is Eclipse. Now let's see how to create a new project. Go to File, New, and here you can see Java project. You can specify the name. I'll give here demo project and then finish it. Okay. Now first thing I'll do here, create a package. So right click on the project, new, and then you can see here package. So what is a package? Package, technically it is just a folder, a directory inside a system that holds some resources. We use package to store some classes. Now I'll give a name, employee management system. This is a package. Okay, now I'll create a class here. Right click here, new class. Let me create employee class. So here is the class. So what is a class? Class is a user defined data type which helps us to create an instance or object. It binds data and properties together. So here we have employee class. What are the properties of an employee? Employee has a name which is of type string. String is a class here. This is another class here. Now you can see which is inside lang package, and lang package is inside Java package. And we know that package is nothing but a container of the classes. So this package we don't have to import. It is by default there. Now let's add another properties of employee, age, and salary. Like that, there are different properties of employee. So I'll take a very basic example with only 3 properties. Now how to initialize these properties? To initialize these properties we need a method, and that special method is known as constructor. So here I'll use parametrized constructor. There are 2 types of constructor, default and parametrized. Default without any value, we cannot pass any value, and parameterized where we pass the value. So in this case I'll pass the value. So let's pass these name, age, and salary. Okay, now here name, age, and salary, these names are similar as these names, but these names have a scope of within a class, and this is inside a method, so we can access inside a method. So when we specify name, so it's this particular variable that gets the priority. Now how to assign these values to this particular variable? Now to access this we use here this. then initialize this name is this particular variable which is the local, and this name is a class variable. Here you can see inside this class. So we can initialize these values. Let's initialize another values. So this constructor helps us to initialize the value. Now I'll create one more method here which will just display. It's a very basic class. So I'll display all these properties. So sys out and then control spacebar. This is a shortcut to generate this code. System out println. So here I'll print name, then concatenate, and then this name. Then we print age, and salary. Okay, now this very basic and simple class is ready, where we have three properties and one constructor to initialize this property, another function or method to print these properties. Now I want to create instance of this class. How to create? Here I'll create another class, new. Let me call this main class, and then I'll select this option so that it can generate main method. Okay, here you can see. Now I'll create the instance of employee. So let me call this E1 and then employee. So here is the class name and instance name, then new operator, and then constructor. So this time I'll call parametrized constructor. So what are the values we have to pass? Name, age, and salary. Name, age, and salary. Okay, so if I use this object here or instance here, E1 dot, see, I can access all the things here. Age, name, salary, display function. Now let's run this. And you can see the output here. Name, age, and salary of this particular instance. Now what I'll do here, let me just change the salary. But this is not correct. User must not get the access to this kind of property, which is very important. So how to protect this? Here change the visibility, make it private. So once we specify here private, this property is not visible outside the class. Now if I try to modify this one, see the error. The field employee salary is not visible. So any property which is important, you can specify private as a access modifier. Otherwise default modifier is package level or default. It can be a public or protected or private or without any value, which is default or package. So private cannot be accessed outside the class, and package level, which is default, cannot be accessed outside the package. Public can be accessed anywhere, and protected is very useful when we use inheritance. Okay, now let's change this program a little bit. Instead of specifying this value here, I'll ask the user to enter the detail. For that, we have to import Java utility and then scanner class. Now this class helps us to take the input from the user through keyboard. So I'll create instance of this scanner class, and here I'll pass system.in. Now here we need a name, age, and salary. So name is a string, sc.next. This is the instance of type scanner, and these are different functions, methods of this instance. Next, we'll take the input as a string, and I am able to store here in this variable. Now before that, of course, I have to print a message. So I'll print enter name, enter salary. Salary is a double, so here you have to use next double function. And then age, enter age. So I'll create a variable here age, and then call this method next int. So the values are stored in this variable. Instead of this one, this variable, these values, I can specify this variable name, then next is age, and then salary. Now let's run this program. Okay, name, salary, age, and see here. So this is a very basic example. Now let's understand inheritance. Inheritance is the most important concept. So if I type the instance here, press dot, now you can see these display name age that belongs to this particular class. But then these functions, these methods, equals, get class, from where it is coming? You can see here it is coming from object. So object is a first class in Java. All the classes by default derive from this class and get all the properties and methods of this class. So it provides very useful method. Like we can get the name of the class, we can convert an instance to a string, and different methods are there. Now what I'll do, I'll create another class and let's call it a person, so that I can use this class in different places. Now what are the properties of a person? Person has a name, age, and then to initialize these properties we need a constructor. Here is the constructor, and then I'll create one method here just to display these things. So I'll display here name and age. Now this class has name and age and two methods. If you see here employee also has a name, age, and salary. So here I'll get these name and age, these things from this particular class, this name, this person class. So how to get? Just write here extends and name of the class. Now I'm saying that what are the properties of a person class or methods of a person class, get those things inside this class. So extends person. Now here I don't have to specify name and age because these properties will take from person class. Only salary here. But then this, because here in this class I am using here constructor which is parameterized, so I must initialize these values. So how to do that? Here I'll remove this part and call super and pass name and age. So super is a function keyword we use to access anything of the superclass. So who is the superclass here? Person is a superclass for employee class. Then this is a constructor. So we have to pass name, age, and salary, and then name and age belongs to superclass. These things we pass to person class. This class takes only salary. Now here in display also, it will display only salary. Now let's go to main class here and run this. Name, salary, age. Now you can see it is printing only salary. The reason is, here if you go in display we have a name and age, not in this display which is inside employee class. So how to use that? Basically we are doing here method overriding. So you can see here, see this symbol. It overrides the method which is inside display. So click here, it will jump to this. So what is method overriding? Method overriding means here in a superclass we have the method which has the same name which is inside a subclass. So in person we have a display, then employee class is derived from person, and in employee class also we have display function. So here we are overriding this. But then how to access this one? So very simple. Inside this use super and then call the method super.display. So when we create the instance of employee class here, it will call display. It will actually go and access this display method, which further call the super display. And who is a super class? Person is a super class. That display method. Let's run this. You can see here. Now I am able to access both the display method. So this is method overriding, and this is a very small example of inheritance. This is a single inheritance where one class which is a person is a superclass or base class, and employee is a derived class. Get all the properties and method inside this. Now here, if there are if you don't want to extend the properties, make it private. Okay, so here now I'm able to create one instance. Let's see how to create multiple. So let's say here an array and then new employee. So here you can specify some number. So this will create the instance 100 instance of type employee. One more thing here, you can see this warning here, it is never closed. So at the end, when it is not required, you must close this. Now see, there is no warning here. So in this course we will cover all this topic: polymorphism, inheritance, exception handling, file handling, basic of the Java like loops, conditional statement, operator, all these things of course will be part, collections, and so many other topics.